Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, businessman Dominic Hadeed and his wife Genevieve have secured an urgent hearing before the Court of Appeal next Tuesday as they seek to overturn a decision by Justice Frank C. Prasad refusing their release from detention over an alleged plot to assassinate government officials. And so this, of course, is good news. The couple was granted the expedited hearing after their procedural appeal against Justice C. Prasad's ruling came up for case management before Appellate Judge Peter Rajkumar at the Hall of Justice in Port of Spain. And of course, Rajkumar is my surname as well. I don't know if you're related to me. My relatives were from Belmont and so forth. So I don't know if you're related to me, maybe Pumpkin Vine. Who knows? But it has a lot of different Rajkumars in Trinidad and Tobago. But I'm happy with the decision that you made. Justice Rajkumar also gave the parties the option of filing additional evidence and submissions ahead of the hearing. The appeal date was set less than 24 hours after High Court Judge Vigil Paul rejected an application to expedite the couple's substantive constitutional claim in which they allege they are being targeted by the government because of their ethnicity and an ongoing dispute over the termination of leases for the state land. I believe it has to do a whole lot more with the state land than the ethnicity. I don't know, maybe the UNC really does consider the 1% to be a race. I consider them, I've always said that the 1% is a social class. They are the elites. They are the top of the food chain. And I will never stop saying that I do believe that the 1% does control governments to an extent. It doesn't appear to be that they have any power over the UNC though, definitely. And that's a good thing, yes, but it's a bad thing how the UNC just targeting them, allegedly are targeting them in a wrong way, without proper evidence and so forth. But I do believe that the 1% is a social class, not a race. It's not about the Lebanese people or the Syrian people, because they are middle class people from those races. But who knows? Maybe they are being targeted in this case. In their appeal, the couple's attorneys raised more than a dozen grounds, arguing that Justice C. Prasad made several errors in refusing interim relief. Among their arguments is that the judge was wrong to conclude that damages would be an adequate remedy if they ultimately succeeded in their constitutional claim. It was very heartless of him to say that. The trauma they are enduring right now cannot be compensated with money. They will be compensated. Most likely, I'm 99% sure that they will be compensated. But that cannot remove the pain and the suffering that they're enduring right now. The nightmares, most likely, that they will have to live with for the rest of their lives. Remembering what they experienced behind those prison walls. They will never totally, fully recover from that, people. And no amount of money can compensate for that, and definitely, of course, their freedom. The continuing deprivation of liberty is the paradigm of irreparable harm. Liberty taken cannot afterwards be restored. They can never get back their freedom that they have been deprived of for over 2 weeks now. The breach having occurred cannot be undone, the lawyers argued, and they are right to say that. They also contended that Justice C. Prasad incorrectly required the couple to prove their continued detention was unlawful, when the burden instead lay on the state and Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to justify the legality of detention. Exactly. The burden is on the state to prove somebody guilty. A person is innocent until proven guilty. The defense does not have the burden to prove innocence to the people. It's the state's duty to prove guilt. You understand? And yet this justice said, okay, well, prove your case that you are innocent. You see what that of course is what the lawyers are basically trying to say there. That the judge said, show me how your detention case, how the detention is unlawful. When what he should have been asking is the state, the police, and whoever else to show him how this detention is lawful. You understand? He has the wrong people to give them to justify the detention. UNC people will say, oh no, you're talking nonsense, la 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 la, you don't understand the law, la 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 la. Yeah, all the UNC lawyers out there. All right then, okay. The attorneys further argued that the judge failed to properly assess the allegations of discrimination. Now, as I said before, I believe even if they were discriminated because of their social class, maybe their race as well, but most likely it's the social class. Who knows? I don't know anymore. With UNC, I don't know anymore. Maybe it could be about their ethnicity as well. They also claimed the judge failed to adequately consider evidence concerning the conditions under which the couple is being held at the Golden Grove prison in Aruka. Definitely, I'm telling you, I can imagine the kind of torment, not torture. I don't want is torturing them, but the torment that they're going through in those prisons right now. The attorneys said the Hadeeds and Sabga were arrested based on intelligence purportedly gathered by the Strategic Services Agency through intercepted communication. You hear that with us? So just like what I was assuming what it was, most likely they were spied upon. One day after Hadeed threatened legal action over the terminated leases, maintaining the detentions were unreasonable and tainted by bad faith, the attorney said the TTPS could have employed less restrictive investigative measures if there was credible evidence of wrongdoing. The thing about it is, most likely, if they were spied upon, it means that these investigators overheard them probably saying something that they wish could happen, which is basically hypothetical, and that is what they were detained for. Macroing people business. For similar statements made by UNC people for 9.5 years, wishing a lot of evil on Rowley. I had to even tell people a lot of times, even in comments online, you cannot be making those kind of statements. Let God deal with Rowley. But you cannot be calling those kind of things to happen either. That is wrong. But the hypocrites will want now to glorify these people being the detention of these people, even though they are guilty of making the same type of statements just over a year ago. Hypocrisy in this world. The Hadeeds are seeking a series of declarations regarding the legality of the SOE extension and their detentions. So this is what I'm glad about, though. This is a constitutional case. Right here. This is a constitutional case, and hopefully, maybe it might have to reach the Privy Council. Maybe it will just end up reaching straight to the appeal court, the Court of Appeals. Once and for all, the government will be told whether they can continue abusing the authority and using the SOE in order to supposedly fight crime, but also detaining people without evidence to charge them. Hopefully, this brings an end to this trampling upon of our Constitution. They also claim their constitutional rights were breached, and this is what I'm telling you. This is a constitutional case, and I am praying and hoping that they win. Because if they don't, well, God have mercy on us. And if they don't win the appeal, hopefully they can be able to take it to the Privy Council. My response: all the UNCs who were celebrating up to a couple days ago will now say this system is too corrupt. Because their case were expedited, all of a sudden UNC people will say, nah, but you see, it's only because they're rich, it's only because there is 1% people that why the case were expedited. You know, who knows? If that might be the case in truth, I don't know. But I know most likely because they can afford the lawyers that could continue fighting on their behalf. People like Christopher Samaru and others can't really afford these kind of big-time lawyers. Although some of them lawyers kind of always jokers too, but some of them appear to be quite good. Bear in mind that this victory doesn't guarantee that their request to be released from prison will be granted this week. Tuesday goes with them, you might end up hearing the appeal judge end up saying the same thing. No, I'm sorry, but the PDO was issued, and therefore we have to leave you behind bars because the PDO is a legal document, the preventive detention order. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that they're released in Jesus' name. But with this system that we have, who knows? Who knows? It might end up in the favor of the government, and therefore these people will have to end up taking it straight up to the Privy Council and actually fight the constitutional case. I want to say enjoy the next 4 years in office. Radical Indos and UNC supporters. A lot of UNC supporters are Indos, and most of the people are glorifying and these people and imprisonment right now are Hindus online. Go online and you will see the ones that are laughing and loving these posts, mostly Hindus. Because this will be the last time that that party ever wins a general election in TNT. UNC will never win again, never, because no one is standing up and telling the tyrant, enough is enough, you are destroying our party and country. Stop it, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad says that. Basically, they're afraid because if they stand up, they won't have a majority to stand with them, and therefore they will just be boots out, just like others would. They will end up part of the famous five. I want to say, don't be so quick to love my comments, though, or post PNM Tribal Patriots, because I dread the day when your evil oppressors return to office as well. I don't want PNM to win in 2030. Don't get me wrong. A lot of PNM people are loving my posts these days. A lot of PNM people are loving my posts all on TikTok as well, when I say that the PNM will win in 2030. That's because I live in the real world and I know what will happen. Not because I'm a prophet, but I have common sense, right? And I know the voting type of the voting patterns when it pertains to the population, right? So I know that the swing voters are going to go straight back to their default settings of voting for the PNM because the UNC lied to them, betrayed them, and are persecuting them. You understand? So they're going to go back to their first love, PNM. But I don't want that to happen. I want to say Kamla betrayed us, but we already know that the abuse of power will continue when Penny becomes the new tyrant of our country. Don't get tired up. And I want to warn the UNC people, you're celebrating right now and talking about rule of law and due process. I hope you will continue to say that when Penny wins and when a state of emergency will most likely be declared as well, right? Maybe she wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe Penny might be a little different. If she wins, let's just hope she doesn't end up doing like Rowley and Kamla. But knowing PNM, most likely they are going to take advantage of the situation because that's what they are known for doing. That's what PNM is known for doing. They're not going to make things better for people, and they're just going to make it even worse again. UNC came in power and made things harder for people, and PNM will come in power and even make it harder again. That is what is going to happen. And all other UNC people and them who glorifying the police right now, I hope when you all start to get locked up under the PNM, you all don't complain. Talk about due process and say, wait and let the courts handle it. I want to say the reality is that most trainees will always prefer to endure abuse under the PNM than to face similar or even worse treatment under the Indo-UNC. Yes, because I'm realizing it more and more. The Indo population really does consider their party to be Indo. That's why I'm calling it Indo. I never really considered it to be. The UNC long time represented all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. But when I'm seeing so many Indos are the ones that are pushing this nonsense right now, I realize it's all about race. Just like how the PNM people are obsessed with race, these East Indians here in Trinidad and Tobago are obsessed with race as well. I'm realizing that day by day. Sad though, because I am half East Indian. I hope and pray that the day will come when we can give a third party a chance to actually bring change, good governance, and prosperity to our nation. That is what I'm really hoping for. Because I know UNC is not going to win again in 2030. But let us give another party a chance, man. Even if it's Kiesel Jackson and definitely Michaela Pandey, let's give Pandey a chance. Now, she isn't perfect. I don't like how she criticizes the government even when they do good. If someone does good, you're supposed to have enough moral standards within you to say, you know what, I don't like them, but they are doing good. Michaela Pandey opposes for opposing's sake usually. But right about now, I am standing with Michaela Pandey. You know why? Not because I'm fickle-minded or anything. It's because her statements are aligning with my values. My values are literally putting country first. Not like how PNMites say. PNMite people don't put country first either. Because I'm telling you, they were tolerating a lot of evil under PNM as well. They put their party is their country. But I'm realizing more and more that UNC is also UNC supporters country and not the country of Trinidad and Tobago either. UNC people know different. Me, I value my democratic rights. I value my constitutional rights. I value the freedom of all my peoples, whether it's UNC people, whether it's PNM people. I don't want anybody to be targeted. I do not like what I'm seeing. I don't like how people are being targeted because they are deemed PNM. I do not like it. And that's what makes me different. So I'm hoping that Michaela Pandey will put aside whatever bias or whatever she has and start to commend if the government is doing it, commend them. But even if you don't do that, I would still like to give you a try in 2030. But you have to up your game, ma'am. And up your game in a very serious or significant way. You can't just continue just being an online activist. You need to start to get on the ground, go on the ground and meet the people, meet with the people. Have, as I tell you, regular meetings and start like a Monday night forum, your own Monday night forum. Where you can have meetings with the people and you can broadcast it on your social media and so forth. So you can build your base, you can grow your base. You need a base to win. You need a base in order to win.
Weather report for Trinidad and Tobago on Saturday, July 11, 2026. On Saturday, July 11, 2026, Trinidad and Tobago will experience variably cloudy, hazy and breezy conditions with a high temperature of 26 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius and a low of 24 degrees Celsius. The Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service indicates a low to medium 30% to 40% chance of heavy or thundery showers developing during the day, accompanied by mild to moderate concentrations of Saharan dust. Winds will blow from the east to southeast at 10 to 40 km per hour, with stronger gusts expected near heavier showers. Seas will remain moderate in open waters with wave heights up to 2.5 meters. Sheltered areas will stay around 1.5 meters but can become occasionally choppy, and spring tides remain in effect. Saharan dust is present, so anyone sensitive to these atmospheric changes should take the necessary health precautions. Sunrise is at 5:46 a.m. and sunset is at 6:30 p.m.
International news now. A senior Iranian official threatened Friday that Israel would be targeted if U.S. attacks on Iranian infrastructure continued, accusing Jerusalem of directing Washington's renewed military campaign. That is only excuse in order to attack Israel. But God, don't worry. Try it, you will like it. Try it, you will like it, Iran. Trump wouldn't be able to stop Israel from attacking you all with full force. If it is, you'll attack Israel. Rest assured about that. Mohammed Bagher Zolgada, Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, said attacks on infrastructure would be met with retaliation in kind, adding that the criminal Zionist regime, remember they are anti-Zionist and anti-Semites, they want to erase Israel off the map, you know. But they're always trying to demonize Israel. They are the ones that claim that they want to erase Israel off the map. It's just the same thing with Hamas. It's the same thing with Hamas. From the rivers to the sea, Palestine will be free. Meaning that they want to erase the whole Israeli civilization. And then they want to claim Israel is the one committing genocide. Telling the world full of hypocrites and evil. So Mohammed Bagher Zolgada, Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, said attacks on infrastructure would be met with retaliation in kind, adding that the criminal Zionist regime, which he blamed for the strikes, will not be safe from the response of the fighters. Israel can't control America and Trump, and you all know that because you all have been seeing how Trump has been trying to bully Israel to begin with. They see it trying to push the QAnon false narrative and the Russian QAnon false narrative that Netanyahu controls Trump. Let's see how it is. Trump has no respect for Netanyahu, trying to behave as though he's the king of Israel and believing Israel wouldn't exist without him. Trump is his own man, and Trump is too arrogant at this point in time. He's doing he's doing the right thing by attacking them right now. I know it's just about games. Let's just see if he will finish the job this time. If he finishes the job this time, wonderful. But I know how Trump usually behaves. He's going to strike them a few times, and he's already saying it, that, you know, they're still having talks. It's just that it doesn't have any ceasefire, but they're still having talks. You cannot have talks with terrorists. Zolgada also lashed out at U.S. President Donald Trump, calling him the most despised figure in the world. He's doing a lot of tatter right now, but you all can't talk about despising, being the most despised. You're a terrorist. And accusing him of insulting Iranians as the country concluded the funeral ceremonies for former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. He praised the mass procession held across Iran and Iraq as a historic epic. The warning followed a new wave of U.S. strikes on Iran. U.S. Central Command said it struck approximately 90 military targets along the Iranian coast on Wednesday, including air defense systems, coastal surveillance equipment, missile and drone storage facilities, naval assets, and logistics centers. It was a really good attack. I ain't lying to tell you that. I will give credit when credit is due. It's a really good attack. My problem with Trump is that he starts a really good campaign and then stops. He never finishes the job. Let's just see if this time he will finish the job. I don't believe so, though. Right? I believe within a few days you're going to hear him start to talk about having discussions again. Iranian state media, I hope I'm wrong. Iranian state media said the perimeter of the Bushehr nuclear power plant and a strategic railway bridge linking Iran with Central Asia were also hit. Finish the job for once, not Trump. Finish the job.
Bible quote of the day. Psalm 19, 1-5. The witness of creation. This famous poetic passage celebrates how nature and the night sky show us the power, beauty, and existence of God. Written by King David, these verses explain that creation speaks a silent, universal language about its creator to all human beings. The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech, night after night they reveal knowledge. They have no speech, they use no words, no sound is heard from them. Yet their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world. In the heavens God has pitched a tent for the sun. It is like a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, like a champion rejoicing to run his course.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. That's what gives the algorithms the boost to share it to a wider population worldwide. If you want to help my channel reach a larger amount of people worldwide, please continue to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.